some assistance to small businesses as well, which is exactly why we're here. So I just want to warmly welcome you all today. I know taking some time out of your busy work weeks to listen to webinars and presentations is no small ask for many of you, especially in the small business community. So I want to thank you for your time. I also just really want to quickly pass things over to my colleague, Kristen, who's also on the line with us today and is going to be helping out with our presentation.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kristen, and I'm on Taproot's marketing team, and I'll be active in the chat today. So if you have any comments or questions throughout the presentation, I'll be there to communicate with you. Yeah, but looking forward to meeting all of you. Feel free to introduce yourself in the chat as well.
Yeah, thank you, Kristen. So like Kristen said, we like getting a feel for who's here, even if we're not, all mics off necessarily talking to each other. So if you want to quickly introduce yourselves in the chat, who you are, where you're from, your small business, what do you all do? It's one of the main privileges of this job that we get to actually talk to so many nonprofits and small businesses and get to see exactly what they're doing, all the exciting things that you're doing. So if you want to quickly introduce yourselves as well, we would love to see that, give you all shout outs in the chat section. But I also want to make sure everyone knows there will be time at the end if you have any questions that were not covered during the duration of today's presentation. We can go over those at the end. Kristen's going to be collecting those and sending them over to me so I don't miss any. We are also going to be sending out a follow-up email with some goodies in it, including this presentation. So, if you have other people in your networks that you are interested in maybe looping in and think this might be a good resource that they could potentially use, you can forward that information to them, and then we can stay in touch via email or kind of any other medium. Hi, Sonia. Thank you so much for introducing yourself. South Texas. I need to get back to the Southwest because I love that terrain so much. But you have a company called Mo Digital. Oh, cool. Developing a mobile app. Awesome. Well, thank you for introducing yourself, Sonia. While other people are dropping information in, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce you all to Taproot a little bit. So some of you might already be familiar with Taproot and what we do. For some of you, this might be kind of brand new information. Hi, Eckhart, based in San Francisco. Thank you so much. Launching an energy startup. Very, very cool. The West is well represented on today's call. So Taproot, for those of you who might know or don't know yet, we are a nonprofit foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit foundation that exists to support essentially other nonprofits, but now also small businesses. So we were founded in 2001 in the Bay Area, Eckhart, right around where you are, with the knowledge that there is a massive resource gap present in the social sector in this country. So organizations and institutions and companies that might have the solutions to our world's most pressing social challenges simply do not yet have the financial means or staff capacity to carry out their missions or their business to their fullest extent. So Taproot is here to help democratize access to resources for nonprofits and now small businesses, regardless of your size, your budget size, your mission area, or how many years that you've been in operations. So all of our programming is really dedicated to linking up nonprofits and small businesses with what we call skilled volunteering support. So skills-based volunteerism, it's volunteering a technical set of expertise back to a nonprofit or a small business. Sometimes you'll hear us call this pro bono. Pro bono obviously is very associated with the legal field in particular. It's where that phrase is most ubiquitous. We actually leave legal pro bono to our partners in the legal field. We're happy to make referrals. We think our partners in the legal field already do that kind of work very well. If anything, we're trying to emulate their infrastructure for doing pro bono. So that is kind of our bread and butter of what we do, is making those connections between skilled volunteers, people giving back on a pro bono basis, and nonprofits and small businesses who are in need of those types of skill sets. So if you could think of anything in the areas of marketing and communication, HR and leadership development, information technology and business strategy and finance, those are the main categories of skills that Taproot facilitates pro bono work in. So we, through all of our programming, our online marketplace, Taproot Plus, which we'll get into in a little moment here, but along with a lot of our programming that is conducted by other departments here at Taproot, we that is how we get the work done. So you'll see here there's kind of three main ways in which we do our programming. The first one, since this is the one most of you are probably all interested in, given that you're here today, is likely where you know us from, which is Taproot Plus. But Taproot Plus is obviously not all that Taproot does. But Taproot Plus enables you and your team, your company or your nonprofit, small business or nonprofit, to request and manage support from skilled business professionals. So Taproot Plus is a free open access online platform that connects marketing, human resources, technology, strategy, finance, operations professionals with opportunities to assist small businesses and nonprofits in need of their expertise. So we're trying to democratize access to high quality business support and consultative support for small businesses and nonprofit organizations. So Taproot Plus is accessible to small businesses and nonprofits in the United States, the UK, the EU, and India and Canada now. So there are some legal hurdles, as you might imagine, to opening up a virtual volunteer marketplace in a foreign jurisdiction. So we are constantly trying to expand while keeping those requirements in mind. So we are not totally global yet, but we are getting there. As you can see, so we are kind of constantly expanding. And now through the updated Taproot website, you can join the community of over 2,500 nonprofit organizations and small businesses directly through taprootfoundation.org. So you'll see that Kristen has posted a ribbon up at the top here. So if you're brand new and you don't know anything about us yet, and you really, really want to get in right at level one, at square one, just go ahead and follow that ribbon and start checking out our site. Also want to give a shout out to Kathy, I believe, from Chicago. I got my start with Taproot actually in Chicago, in our Chicago office. So I always love to see when Chicago people are on. And Kathy, wonderful. It looks like you've already worked with Taproot and are in the consultant position, in the volunteer position. I'm interested in giving back. Happy to link you up with more volunteer-based resources as well to help you answer any questions that you might have. We also have an advisory services department, which really fuels our work of creating connections between small businesses and nonprofits and dedicated volunteers by partnering with companies and grant makers and other foundations to develop custom skills-based volunteering programs. So since 2001, Taproot's advisory services team has collaborated with over 100 Fortune 500 companies and other organizations to match the expertise of employees with nonprofits and small businesses who need support. So our best-in-class team of consultants works extensively and intensively with employers, corporate social responsibility, and HR departments to provide really unique volunteering opportunities with causes and communities that those people care about. So we share information on sponsored, local, or team-based volunteer opportunities with nonprofit and small business members when they're available. So if you are in our network on Taproot Plus, you might find yourself eligible for one of those opportunities that's run by our advisory services department. Just by being in our network, it means that you are potentially able to partake in one of those. If you are potentially eligible as a small business or a nonprofit to take advantage of one of those programs, we'll invite you to one of those programs. You might get a request for a short application or an RFP from us. So just by signing up and being in our network means that you're potentially able to benefit from one of those programs as well. We also engage in a lot of field building. So Taproot is a nonprofit dedicated to serving our fellow nonprofits and small businesses through mobilizing a deeper level of volunteerism and community engagement. As such, we're here to change hearts and minds, making it so that every small business and nonprofit has access to the professional infrastructure and capacity resources they need to fully act on their missions. Because the pro bono skills-based volunteerism ethic is so established across professional fields like finance, advertising, HR, information technology, and more. So we do a lot of field building, a lot of thought leadership. We conduct regular sector research and develop resources in areas such as connecting skills-based volunteerism to inclusive professional development, building resiliency at nonprofits, calculating the value of pro bono consulting, and much, much more. We're also co-founders of the Global Pro Bono Network, which is a coalition of intermediaries facilitating skills-based volunteering around the world and sharing resources to strengthen one another's collective work. We also host an annual Pro Bono Summit, which is an opportunity for volunteerism and employee engagement leaders across sectors to come together to collaborate, learn, and expand on the pro bono movement. These field building resources and events are always cost-free, along with Taproot Plus, which is always cost-free. Our nonprofit is really dedicated to empowering the growth of high-quality skills-based volunteerism to ensure equitable resources are accessible for nonprofits. So we do a lot of thought leadership and field building activities as well outside of our normal run of show. So Taproot, we're here to get small businesses and nonprofits the support they need for free. And this is just a smattering of stats that you can view here just about our impact as an organization. So that is a little bit about Taproot and kind of what we are and what we do. But now I want to kind of get to the main event here, which is talking about the new taprootfoundation.org. So as many of you might already have seen or heard through the grapevine, that we've recently updated a lot of our web presence. And one of the biggest ways in which we've updated that is that we've merged taprootfoundation.org and taprootplus.org into kind of one streamlined website for our community members, which better enables you to tap into our resources, our case studies, and industry knowledge that our nonprofit has developed over the past 20 years, while you're requesting skill volunteer support through your own Taproot Plus account. So there's no more going to two separate websites like we had people do in the past. All the information and pro bono support opportunities exist now in one space, which we hope will lead to improvement of the user experience for community members, whether they're small business leaders, nonprofits, or our skill volunteers who are using our platform. So as a part of the Revamped website, we've created a new small business landing page, which if you are a small business leader, which I'm assuming a lot of people here are, it gives you more immediate access to information on Taproot's program options for small businesses and how corporate skills can translate into building capacity at your business or your company. Examples from fellow small business leaders, upcoming community events, new resources, research, and of course, the place where you can go for on-demand access to skilled volunteer consultation advice. So a little bit more about some of the changes we've made to the website. And I'm also telling people, as we're getting people acclimated to the new website, we are a nonprofit that is running this big tech platform. So we are constantly pushing improvements and new updates to the site as we're rolling it out. So pardon our dust, if some things are still a bit under construction. But I'm very, very excited about the direction our new website is going in. And one of the ways in which I think it'll be vastly improved is this enhanced onboarding. So we're giving you increased control over your email preferences, more options for user support, and better options for quickly finding events and resources on our resources menu. And these are, things that are always accessible through your user dashboard, and are much more prominently put in front of you than they were before. The other big way in which we've changed the website, especially for small businesses, is we are now reviewing sessions as they go up on our marketplace. So I'll talk a little more about sessions more expansively in a few more slides, because sessions is, of course, the main program option that we have made available to small business users. So nonprofits kind of have a different experience. They have a few more options for engaging on programs. But during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, we decided to expand our offerings, our program offerings, to small business leaders as well. And sessions are the main program that we've made available for small businesses. So sessions are 1 hour, one-off calls with a subject matter expert, a consultant or business professional that might have answers or an important perspective that can consult with you and hopefully get you more information or help you troubleshoot, brainstorm. These are great ways to touch base with the subject matter expert who can maybe help provide some more expertise and guidance as you build capacity at your organization. So we are now conducting regular reviews of sessions and providing support to people who've maybe posted a session, but we think we have some advice that can make it more attractive and compelling, so that somebody on our marketplace, one of our great skill volunteers, will pick up your session and offer to have the consultation session with you. We've also expanded the different types of support that you can categorize a session for, from brainstorming, problem solving, to project planning, and also staff training. So that's another way in which we've expanded our offerings a little bit. Used to be sessions was a place where a nonprofit or small business would post a session need, and it would just go straight up to the marketplace. But by providing more review of the content of the sessions you're posting, we'll be able to better match you ultimately with, hopefully, with a good skill volunteer who can give you the advice you're really looking for. And we have other expanded support opportunities. So increased volunteer support for more skill areas that didn't exist on the previous website. So design and creative options, software engineering, operations and analytics, and writing are new skill sets that we're recruiting skill volunteers for, that we did not necessarily have as part of the old onboarding, or rather the old Taproot Plus experience. So we're really excited to be able to support more skill sets and volunteers who want to give back on a pro bono basis. We also have a new feature called the pro bono menu, which is really where you can go to get specific Taproot Plus session ideas that you can immediately request to your account. It's ready-made ideas and language. So I definitely would recommend take some time to look through that menu and look at all the tailored resources, case studies, and other webinar recordings and knowledge sharing event recordings to help you better understand whatever functional area you're trying to get more expertise in. And I know I've talked a little bit about the pro bono menu here, but I do want to kind of show you what it looks like when you get there. So if you're on the site and you're poking around, so if you are interested in potentially posting a request for a consultation session that we can start recruiting a skill volunteer for, this might be a good first place to go because it'll help give you ideas, maybe provide some of that professional kind of consultant jargon language to help you better structure your idea. So you're like, okay, how exactly do I ask for this specific type of support that I'm having a challenge in? What's the proper framing for it? The pro bono menu is a great place to go if you're kind of having cold feet about how to describe your need, or just interested in what types of sessions you can actually post to our marketplace. So please take advantage of that pro bono menu. To help you better understand your own needs or evaluate your own needs as a small business. So I do want to just touch on some frequently asked questions that people have about the new site. If you're familiar with the old site, you might go, everything just looks different, everything's changed. Where is everything? Or how different are things? So never fear, accessing, if you already have a Taproot Plus account, you still have that account. It didn't go anywhere. You're just going to now access and sign in through the new taprootfoundation.org page rather than going to that Taproot Plus page, but your account still does exist. It didn't get wiped or changed or anything like that. And your same email, your same password are still going to apply to the new website as well. So you're not going to have to re-sign up or do anything like that. If you've already created a profile, that profile is already in the new Taproot Plus experience, and you're just going to use the same email and password that you did on the old site. Another great question: are Taproot's programs still free to participate in? Yes. So we changed the site, but we did not change this, and this is really our core part of our mission, our bread and butter. So this is not going to change. Taproot Plus programming and resources are cost-free for nonprofit small businesses and individual volunteers, the people giving back their skill sets. And again, we are accessible to small businesses registered in the United States specifically. So I know I talked a little bit previously about our geographic reach. Right now, for small business support, we're only able to provide that support within the United States. However, if you do have nonprofits that you know about in your network that might be in Canada or the EU or something like that, we can serve nonprofits to a little bit more of an expanded geographic range. But right now, our small business support does pertain simply to the United States. So I do want to make sure to clarify that, since it's mostly small business leaders who are on this webinar with us right now. But yes, everything is still free. There is no hidden cost or fee or asterisk or small fine print anywhere. So just keep that in mind as well. That has not changed. And then, like I said, it's still very much so a work in progress. So, what additional changes can you expect that might be different? So there's going to be increased small business dashboard functionality that's going to be coming down the pipeline. We're also creating impact reports, which will allow you to just download a quick summation of all the activity from your Taproot Plus experience, including the dollar value of the hours that were donated on a pro bono basis, and more embedded resources right into your dashboard. So those are more changes that you can expect that are coming down the pipeline as we further optimize the new dashboard and user experience. So if some of you are interested in hearing a little bit more about, as a small business leader, how exactly you can engage through our new online experience, as I touched on a little bit earlier, we have made our sessions program available to small business leaders for several years now. So as I mentioned, small sessions are 1 hour, one-off consultative calls with a subject matter expert. So someone with, a consulting background or a business background in marketing and communications, information technology, HR and leadership development, or business strategy and finance. So these are a really, really great opportunity for small business leaders in particular. If you have a core question or challenge that you are looking to try and get solved, or at least more context about. So that is essentially what Taproot Plus sessions are. again, they're a great way to problem solve, brainstorm new creative ideas, or plan for more ambitious projects that you have coming up. I know if you're like me, you could always do with more project management and project planning support. So those are some of the ways in which you could leverage a 1 hour consultation session. I'll go through really quick, once you get to your dashboard and you're interested in posting a session to our marketplace, what that actually looks like. Something I will emphasize is if you are interested in posting a session to the marketplace, again, these are 1 hour consultation sessions usually. That 1 hour consultation can go by pretty quick. So, if you are thinking about your needs, we really recommend drilling down into a really core challenge or key question you might have, to make sure that you are being able to use that time to the best of your ability during that 1 hour consultation. So the more you can drill down on something central that has to do with a specific kind of core skill set, the better chance you're going to have with really recruiting a good volunteer who wants to take on this consulting session with you. So for example, if you came into the marketplace and you drop down into the sessions posting page that well, we need help with marketing. Okay, well, that's marketing can mean dozens and dozens and dozens of different things. In order for your consultation section to be picked up and be successful, you're definitely going to need to drill down a little bit further about what it is you actually need beyond we need help with marketing. So when you do log into your account and you go to fill out the form where we ask you what your session is, what it's about, and for some basic information, this is kind of what it's going to look like. So you'll see a few drop-down menus and a text box here where you can plug in the information that is necessary for us to then take your 1 hour consultation pitch to our marketplace and start boosting it out to skilled volunteers. So we're going to ask you what kind of advice you're looking for, what area of expertise specifically you're looking for support in. So what's the core skill set that you're looking to engage? And then we're going to ask you, what topic you would like to actually discuss in this 1 hour consultation session. So beyond, the general category of the type of support you're looking for and the specific skill set, then you're going to go on and describe exactly what your goal for that call is. What do you not have at the beginning of the call that you want to have at the end of the call? Whether it's being armed with a new set of information, more clarity and understanding about a certain challenge you've been facing, some basic troubleshooting, or something like that. This is your big chance to go into a little more depth about what it is you're actually looking for. So I want to just really quickly take each one of these in quick succession, and break them down a little bit more, just to give you the knowledge you need to craft a really good substantive session pitch that we can take to the marketplace. So in that drop-down menu, when we ask you what kind of advice you're looking for, so we're gonna ask you basically about what kind of category of advice you're looking for. So immediate problem solving, brainstorming, training, project planning, diagnosing critical issues, for example, are all great types of advice that you can engage a skilled volunteer on. So we actually have those listed out in the drop-down menu. If your session topic maybe bridges more than one of those, so for example, a social media session on ideas to optimize your Facebook page for engagement might include both training and brainstorming. We recommend just choosing the option that speaks to your highest priority goal for this call with a volunteer. This piece is especially helpful for a volunteer to see in advance so that they can prepare to deliver exactly what you'll need during the 1 hour call. So next, we're going to ask you, what area of expertise do you need support in? So what skill category? Um, so when we ask what skill category, we'll provide, again, a drop-down menu of wide-ranging options, everything from accounting to website design to copywriting, um, to, in HR handbook specifics. Again, if your need falls in one of those main categories that we work in, you should be able to find the basic skill category in the drop-down menu. There's dozens and dozens of new options that are a bit more comprehensive than our old system. So you can better describe your need a little more accurately. And this helps us obviously prep the skilled volunteer for a more kind of specific skill set that they're going to need to engage. It also helps us pitch these sessions better to skilled volunteers based off of skill set. So our marketplace really relies on matching skills stated in these session descriptions to skills in a volunteer's user profile. And we're going to boost your session out specifically to people with the right skill set. So I'll ask you for that information as well. What's the basic category of skill you're looking for? And then, again, that final box there is a text box where you get to tell us what is your main goal for this 1 hour session. So what do you specifically want to address? What is your goal for the time with the volunteer? This is a free response question. It's the only one you'll have to answer. But my general tips for thinking about how to fill this section out are really: one, try to keep this to 2 to 4 sentences. If you find yourself elaborating past that point, your need might be a little too large for just a 1 hour consulting session. So keep that in mind. You might find yourself thinking about posting multiple sessions that kind of have to do with the same subject. It's never a bad idea to get a second opinion or, flesh out another aspect of your need that might involve a different skill set in another consultation session. Be very specific about the advice you need. So volunteers really want to apply for opportunities that they can perform really successfully in. So let them know how you'll know if the session is a successful one. This could be something as simple as, I'll know this session is a success if I come away with answers about X, Y, and Z, or have a better understanding of my problem, or have a better understanding of the scope of work I need to pursue for a potential project that I have down the line. So, what do you not have at the beginning of the session that you want to have at the end of the session? Feel free to share relevant links and details that the volunteer applicant may need to understand your ask even better. And then take an extra moment before pressing that submit button on your session request to scan for basic grammar and punctuation. This is really your chance to put your best foot forward and make a pitch for a skill volunteering engagement. It's going to live on the Taproot Plus marketplace. So some people, when they're filling this information out, they think they're just talking to us. You are talking to all of our skill volunteers on our marketplace. You are pitching them directly. So you want to put your best foot forward. Do basic proofreading for whatever it is you submit. When we review sessions, we do try and clean up, basic grammar and spelling and things like that. But really, this is something that you should definitely think about as well, in putting your best foot forward. And remember, you are representing your organization. So you want the cleanest and prettiest pitch that you can possibly have. So I know I've talked a little bit about the various types of sessions you could potentially pursue, but I do want to just share with you really quick some examples of session topics across different types of skill categories, to give you a better idea of what this looks like. So, for example, here we have a technology, website development, and a project management type of session. So you can read through some of these. But for example, if I want to highlight one of these, if you have a web development session, if you're maybe embarking on the web development process for the first time ever, that can be very, very intimidating. There's a lot of steps. I know because I've done it before. An experienced web developer can just sit down with you and take you through how you'll need to prepare for such a large undertaking. What are the basic milestones? what are the basic technical aspects or kind of key questions you'll need to answer, or resources that you'll need to have in place before you start trying to design and develop your own website. That's a really good topic for a session. I'm just trying to get the lay of the land and figure out what the basic steps for website design and development are, so that I'm not completely lost in trying to start out. They also might have really good tips and tricks for, what the best platform is for your needs. So if they're like, look, you just need a really basic nonprofit site that markets what you do with not too many bells and whistles. So we recommend, just going with this basic WordPress template that you can potentially link up with a graphic designer for websites and brand specifically for your organization. If you need more bells and whistles like e-commerce or something like that, as a lot of business leaders do, they might have, a better idea for the platform you should use for that. So that's a really great example of a way in which you could use a session to tackle website development need, which is a big need for a lot of small businesses and nonprofits. And then here we also have another slate of examples. Again, you can read through some of these, but I'll highlight one of them. Advertising, obviously, is something that's top of mind for both small businesses and nonprofits. So you could have a brainstorming call with an advertising or sales professional who can help you, figure out what your game plan needs to be when it comes to making the most out of something like Google Ads or paid social media content and media placements. So what's the basic strategy we should lay out if we are going to be interested in advertising through paid social media content that we post, not just through our website, but on Google and, all over the internet. What's a basic advertising strategy? What are the tech platforms we need to be most aware of? Business planning is also a really, really great use of sessions that I know a lot of people have gotten some benefit from. When just discussing, basic strategy to adjust your business model, maybe, something drastic happened at the organization. Maybe you have to discontinue a line of products, or you're down a few staff members. And you want to talk with a strategist for how that might change your model over the next year. That's another great use of sessions. These are by no means an exhaustive list of the types of needs you can use sessions for. Again, refer back to that pro bono menu that's on our site for more ideas about how you could potentially leverage one of these 1-hour consultation calls. And my final kind of bit of advice here before we wrap up is our golden rule of skill volunteerism. So we always try and instill this in our skill volunteers, small businesses, and nonprofits. And our golden rule is to treat every pro bono opportunity as if it was a for-pay opportunity. So, that means holding each other accountable, for the time and place you're supposed to meet, coming prepared, with a slate of questions or a basic structure for the meeting. Don't be afraid to link up with your skill volunteer beforehand via email and send them any materials that you might want them to review before your call. Any more context that you can give them about your core question or issue is going to be helpful. And also, you want to come prepared to capture the advice that you get, and think about how you might implement it. And similarly, for the skill volunteer, this consultation is going to be part of their work history and resume. They want to provide you with the best service and advice possible, and will appreciate any actionable or honest feedback you want to give them. So there is a space for feedback as well. At the end of the day, everyone wants to feel as if they did great work. So holding yourself and your skill volunteer accountable for creating a really high quality consultation session helps everyone feel motivated throughout the session and ideally proud of the outcome. So this applies to any pro bono work, whether you are getting it done through a Taproot program or really anywhere else. treat every pro bono opportunity as if it was a for pay opportunity to ensure best outcomes. And again, that applies to Scale volunteers, small business leaders, and nonprofits as well. So hopefully now that you know a little bit more about Taproot, how we operate, who we are, our new website presence, everything we've done to try to improve the site, everything we are doing to improve the site, and some kind of basics about how you can potentially engage as small business leaders by finding support on our marketplace for consultation sessions you want to have. So visit our website. Think about potential ways in which you might be able to leverage this resource, or think about it in the future, or send it to your colleagues and people in your network if you think they could benefit from this as well. But I want to make sure we do have enough time to answer any questions you might have that have come down the pipeline. You can also reach out to us at help@taprootplus.org as well. If you're like me and you think of brilliant questions at like 1 a.m. later that you should have asked, then you can easily reach us and let us know what your question might be. But other than that, I want to just look through the Q&A here to make sure we address all your questions. But if some of you have to jump to go to other things, thank you so much for being here. And one great question that we have coming in is there a distinct definition of small businesses or when an entity might grow out of its small status? We usually make these determinations on a case-by-case basis when people apply and post an opportunity. And I'd say right now our standards are pretty liberal when it comes to the types of small businesses that can use our support. What we're going to ask from you obviously is your EIN, so your employer registration or employee registration number that you get from the IRS, and we'll ask you about like your budget size and obviously what your business does. But like I said, we make those determinations on a case-by-case basis. And I think we rely kind of on a high trust environment to make sure that businesses that are using this feature are small businesses, at least in their context. But yeah, and if you have any more questions about that, you can reach out to us as well. But yeah, like I said, I think we're pretty open to the types of businesses that want to use our service, because it tends to be pretty self-selective. So don't hesitate to go ahead and create an account and start getting busy, because I don't think there should be much of a blocker there for you. That's a great question to think about too for future presentations as well, because you're probably not the only person that might have that question. Awesome. But like I said, go ahead and drop any more questions you all might have into the chat, and then we can tackle them online. But again, I do want to thank everyone for being here. I know for small businesses in particular, you all have very busy schedules, and it's very hard to just take time out of your day to come to something like this. But thanks again for being here. And it looks like we don't have any more questions coming in. So I am going to go ahead and end it there. If there was a question that did come in that we might have missed, we are going to keep a record of the chat. So we will look back over and go, oh no, we missed someone's question, and make it a point to reach out to you there as well. But again, thank you so much for your time. Hope everyone enjoys the rest of their week and has a good holiday season coming up. Happy Christmas, happy Hanukkah, and a good break. Hopefully you all will be able to take a break. But thank you so much, and you all have a good one. Bye now.